Okay, so today is the disappearance day of Lokanath Das Goswami. So before Srimad Bhagavatam, we're going to speak a little bit about him. There's not a whole lot, but we will cover what we can. Last page of the songbook. Ye anilo premadana koruna prachur Ye anilo premadana koruna prachur premadana koruna prachur Heno Prabhu Kota Gila Charya Thakur Kota Gila Thakur Kahamura Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Swarupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahamura Bhatta Yuga Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gila Goranatara Gila Tara Asane Kutibo Mata Anale Pasibo Mata Anale Pasibo Goranga Gulira Nidhi Kota Gile Pabo Gulira Nidhi Kota Pabo Se Samba Sangira Sangi Ye Koilo Bila Sangira Sange Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotama Das Ye anilo premadana koruna prachur Ilo premadana koruna prachur Heno Prabhu Kota Gila Acharya Thakur Gila Thakur He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy Where has such a personality as Srinivas Acharya gone? Where is my Shrup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where is my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to attain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Today is the disappearance day of Lochan Das Goswami, Lokanath Goswami. And so I'll read a little bit about his life. Lokanath Goswami is mentioned as follows in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is not a whole lot. Sangha Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, Raghunath Bhatta Gosai, Ara Lokanath. When Rupa Goswami stayed at Mathura, he was accompanied by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Lokanath Das Goswami. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami gives the following information about Sri Lokanath Goswami. Sri Lokanath Goswami was a personal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a great devotee of the Lord. He was a resident of the village named Talakandi in the district of Yashohari in Bengal. Previously, he lived in Kanchanapara. His father's name was Padmanabha, and his younger brother was Pragalbha. Following the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Lokanath went to Vrindavan to live. He established a temple named Gokulananda. Sri Narottam Das Thakur selected Lokanath Das Goswami to be his spiritual master, and he was his only disciple. Because Lokanath Das Goswami did not want his name mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we do not often see it in that celebrated book. On the EBR Railroad, the Yashore station, located in Bangladesh, from the railway station one can go by bus to the village of Sonakali, and from there to Kejura. From there one has to walk, or during the rainy season, go by boat to the village of Talakadi. In this village, there are still descendants of Lokanath Goswami, descendants of his brother, basically. A Pranam mantra for Lokanath Goswami was written by Narottam Das Thakur, his Pranam mantra. It says, I worship the lotus feet of Srila Lokanath Prabhu, the son of Sri Padmanabha. He is a storehouse of single-minded service to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Vinod. In the village of Talahor, Gram, in the Yashore district, lived the mother and father of Sri Lokanath Goswami. His father's name was Padmanabha, and his mother's name was Sri Sita Devi. Sri Padmanabha Bhattacharya was a very dear follower of Sri Advaita Acharya. From his early childhood, Sri Lokanath was indifferent to family life. One day, giving up his mother and father and leaving his home behind forever, he went to Mayapur in Navadvip to take darshan of the holy feet of Sri Gauranga. Sri Gauranga Dev embraced Lokanath Goswami with great affection, and soon he ordered Lokanath Goswami to quickly go to Vrindavan. But Lokanath Goswami could understand by certain evidence that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would leave home and take sannyas within 2 or 3 days. So he was an early associate of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, he was in great anxiety. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand the mind and heart of Lokanath Goswami and consoled him, saying, "We shall be reunited in Vrindavan." In this connection, Srila Narihari Chakravarti has written in his Bhakti Ratnakara, while he was weeping and weeping, crying out his heart at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya, Lokanath felt himself being caught up and embraced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, as Lokanath bid him farewell, the Lord gave him a confidential message which consoled him greatly. After this, he offered his soul at the lotus feet of Srimad Mahaprabhu, and after giving his pranams to all the devotees, he went away. After this, Lokanath never returned to home. Rather, afflicted with deep separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began wandering from one holy place of pilgrimage to the next. Gradually, after visiting many holy places, he came to Vrindavan Dham. In the meantime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas and went to Jagannath Puri. After staying in Puri for some time, the Lord had a mind to deliver the fallen souls, and so began his tour of South India. Hearing of the Lord's tour of South India, Sri Lokanath also went to South India in search of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after visiting many holy places of pilgrimage in South India and again returning to Jagannath Puri for some time, finally came to Vrindavan. Hearing this, Lokanath Goswami quickly went to Vrindavan. Meanwhile, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already left for Prayagdam. Arriving in Vrindavan and not seeing Mahaprabhu, Lokanath was heartbroken. He resolved to set everything right by starting out the very next morning for Prayag to meet the Lord. That night, the Lord came to him in a dream and consoled him, saying, "O Lokanath, stay in Vrindavan. I have not broken my vow. I have already come to Vrindavan and live there in another form. In this way, you shall always maintain my connection." A few days later, Sri Lokanath Goswami chanced to meet the most dear followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, Sri Gopal Bhatta, Sri Bhugarba, and others. The exchange of divine love between them was wonderful to behold, and they were all one mind, one heart. In the midst of the Goswamis, Sri Lokanath was the oldest. He was fully absorbed in prema. In his Mangalacharya to the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Srila Sanatana Goswami offers respects to Lokanath Goswami as follows. I offer my obeisances unto Sri Kashivara Pandit, Sri Lokanath Goswami, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who are very dear to Sri Govinda in Vrindavan, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Sri Lokanath Goswami wandered throughout all the 12 forests of Vrindavan in great ecstasy. In one of the forests, there's a village named Umaro. There he stayed for some time on the banks of the Kishore Kund. He had a great desire to establish the deity, worship of the deity, and render service to Krishna in that way. Understand Lokanath's aspiration to serve. Krishna himself appeared before him and offered Lokanath a vigraha, saying, "Worship this deity here." The deity's name is Radha Vinod. After giving him this beautiful deity, the Lord suddenly disappeared. At this, Lokanath Goswami became stricken with anxiety. Seeing him absorbed in worry, Radha Vinod smiled and said, "Why have you brought me here? I have come here personally just to satisfy your purpose. What do you want from me? I live in the forest here, near the village of Umaro. By this Kishore Kund, you see before you, I make my residence. By this Kishore Kund, you see before you, I make my residence. You must now give me something to eat quickly." Lokanath Goswami's joy knew no bounds. He floated in waves of prema. After this, he prepared an offering for the Lord to eat. After offering the fine rice on a fresh banana leaf, to the deity, he experienced great ecstasy by offering his life to the lotus feet of the Lord. He was stunned by drinking the nectarian beauty of the Lord. After this, he offered a bed of flowers and made the Lord rest. Sri Lokanatha Swami made this place his home. The local villagers and cowherdmen wanted to construct a bhajan kutir for him, but he refused to accept it. In order to protect the deity, he prepared a cloth bag which he would keep around his neck at all times. Sri Radhavanod became like a jeweled necklace around the neck of Lokanath Goswami. The cloth bag was his temple. This was Lokanath Goswami's practice until the day he disappeared from this earth, and is an example of strict vairagya he maintained, With great care, he always stayed in the association of the Goswamis in Vrindavan. It is very difficult to exhaustively describe the life and pastimes of Lokanath Goswami, who was very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dear followers, beginning with Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatan, disappeared, Sri Lokanath Goswami could not tolerate the separation. After this, his only purpose in life was to establish the wishes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Lokanath Goswami gave mantra diction to Sri Narottam Das Thakur. There is no mention in the Shastras that he accepted any other disciples. Narottam Das Thakur served him in secret by going in the dead of night to the place where Lokanath would pass stool and urine and clean in that area very carefully. Seeing Narottam's humility, Lokanath accepted him. Sri Lokanath Goswami, in his ripe old age, while performing his bhajan at Kadravan in Kairat Gram, passed away and entered into the eternal unmanifested pastimes of the Lord. At that place is a kund called Sri Yugala Kund. On the banks of that kund, Sri Lokanath Goswami entered into samadhi. It is said that when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami went to Lokanath Goswami and asked his blessings to compile Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lokanath Goswami gave his blessings, but prohibited Kaviraj Goswami from mentioning his name in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. For fear of violating the order of Lokanath, Kaviraj Goswami has only briefly mentioned him in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is the pastimes of Sri Lokanath. If anybody wants to add anything or say anything, then is what? It's in Jaipur. That deity is in Jaipur. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it got moved out with, I guess, with the other ones. Okay. Nobody. It's not still the same deity there now. So it's mentioned that Radhavanod was moved to Jaipur. Okay, so we're going to move on to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. So I guess we just read through this. Okay. Aho Tree, we're at Srimad 10:53:23. Aho Tree Yamanatarita Ahotri Yamanatarita Udvaho Me Pa Radhasha Udvaho Me Pa Radhasha Nagacha Aravindaksho Nagacha Ya Aravindaksho Naham Vedam Artra Karanam Naham Vedyatra Karanam. So Pi Navartate Vapi So Pi Navartate Vapi Mat Sandesa Haro Vijha Mat Sandesa Haro Vijha Aho Triyamanatarita Udvato Me Parahashahi Nagacha Yaravindakso Naham Ved Myatra Karanam Sopi Narvartate Vapi Matsandes Saharod Vijay. Okay, we're going to speed it up. Somebody wants to. Oh, Triyamanarata. Nagarata. Topinavartate Vyapi. Aho Hitrarya Marata. Dakshya Ravindaksho. Sopinavartate Vapi. Matsandesaro. Aho, alas, Triyama, 3 yamas, 9 hours, i.e. the night. Antarita, having ended. Udhava, the marriage. Me, of me. Alpa, insufficient. Radhasa, whose good fortune. Nagachati, does not come. Aravinda Aksha, lotus-eyed Krishna. Na, do not. Aham, I. Ved me, no. Atra, for this. Karanam, the reason. Saha, he. Api, also. Na avartate, does not return. Aja api, even now. Mat, my sandesa, of the message. Hara, the carrier. Dvijahi, the Brahmin. Translation. Princess Rukmini thought, alas, My wedding is to take place when the night ends. How unlucky I am. O lotus-eyed Krishna does not come. I don't know why, and even the Brahmin messenger has not yet returned. Purport. It is apparent from this verse, as confirmed by Srila Sridhar Swami, that present scene takes place before sunrise. So, Om Ganda Timarandasha, Gananjana Shilakaya, Chakshur Omli Tormni, Tais my Sri Gora Ve Namaha. So the time in here is kind of important in this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that before the sunrise, because of eagerness and fear, Rukmini began to worry. This night of 3 yamas has finished. Tomorrow night is the fixed time for the wedding of this most unfortunate woman. Jiva Goswami, she laments. Triyama, 9 hours, indicates a small amount of time. It is my bad luck Krishna has not come, that I have not met him. There can be no other cause than my misfortune, since he has all powers and protects those who surrender to him. That is also the cause of the Brahman not returning. If the merciful Brahman does not return, I will have to give up my life. So Sanat Goswami, we'll go ahead and read his. She laments, she is most unfortunate because Krishna delays in coming. He does not come. The present tense is used to express the past to indicate that he must come. His lotus eyes destroy all suffering. I do not understand the reason why he has not come, since he is endowed with all powers, and he is affectionate to his devotees. Because he is completely independent, he will not come. Why would the Brahman return? So we have this as the first of 3 verses revealing what she's thinking, her anxiety, right? She's still got time. It says it's 9 hours. And she's, still thinking this way. The mind is working. There's still a chance he might come, even though she's thinking he might have changed his mind. Because there's something, in her humility, she thinks there's something wrong with her. That Krishna's not going to come. How unlucky I am. He must have seen something that's wrong with me. And she makes the comment that even Lord Shiva's wife has turned against me, so she's coming up with these, her mind is working. And even though we understand her as a pure devotee, her anxiety and her love and her humility works. Even though we sometimes, in our anxiety, we oftentimes might think the worst in the situation. We might come sometimes think the worst. Sometimes we hope for the best, but we tend to think the worst in our material consciousness. And there's a saying that, and even in the warriors, that a coward will die 1,000 deaths, but a hero can only die once, because the mind works us. We become subjected to our mind in so many ways. Now, Krishna, when he saw this Brahman back in the previous chapter, he made a comment in which he said, an unsatisfied Brahman wanders restlessly from one planet to another, even if he becomes a king of heaven. But a satisfied Brahman, though he may possess nothing, rests peacefully. So this is the difference between a controlled mind and an uncontrolled mind. Now, in the previous chapter, in her letter, she mentions a particular time for when Krishna can come. So this is the sunrise, it's still dark, and she's in anxiety, he's not going to come, but she's already, in her previous letter, you can come at a particular time. There's going to be a point in time when there's a procession right before the marriage. Of course, in the what she says in text 41 of chapter 52, O unconquerable one, tomorrow when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should arrive unseen. So that was her first request. But Krishna doesn't do that, because we'll see later that he shows up and then he's greeted like with all the other guests, and there's arrangements made for him for residential quarters. Him and Balaram and all his army is described. This is later in this chapter. But there's one problem with that. Krishna doesn't plan on staying. He's leaving very quickly as soon as this opportune time comes. So in the next text, in 42, she says that since I will be staying within the inner chambers of the palace, you may wonder, how can I carry you away without killing some of my relatives? But I shall tell you a way. Now she says here it says it's translated here, on the day before the marriage, which is a little bit of a conflict here. There's a grand procession in honor of to honor the royal family's deity. And in this procession, the new bride comes outside the city to visit the goddess Giriraj. So this word Purve Duhya, they translated it as previously. They translated it as the day before the marriage. But that's not actually correct, because it's the same day. That we saw the day before he reads the letter. Krishna's coming. The day of the marriage, 9 hours, it's in the morning. And so it actually should just read before the marriage. The day before would be the previously. So these things in life, if you look at them with the other verses, they don't quite line up. I looked up that Purve in the to see how many different translations it came with. And mostly it's translated as previously, in the past, formally, used in those, that's how it's translated. But with the word duya, they had it on the day before the marriage. But this is the day of the marriage. This is going on. She's already thinking that way. 9 hours left, And then eventually she gets some auspicious signs, so there's a twitch in her thigh and her eye and her ear, and this kind of relieves some of her anxiety and that she has been feeling. She's like, very apprehensive. But, I guess there's a lot of these types of omens that people, if you have the vision to see these things, signs in nature, they can, you can understand things that are about to happen. Sometimes omens, of course, weather, they can predict something like that. They can see in the weather. But here we have, in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, the arrangement and the scene that's being set for Krishna to come and kidnap her. Like we mentioned, he's there. It's the art of surprise is going to take place, and the surprises, and even in battle, gives you an upper hand. Of course, Krishna doesn't need any help, but still, we have all these forces that are gathered from all the different parts of the country, around India. And this is, of course, 5,000 years ago. I was reading, actually, I am reading a book, Srimad Bhagavatam, Tattapara. It's by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, and it's lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam. And they're not all full lectures, they're just excerpts of lectures. This is a book translated by Bhanu Swami. And it was very interesting. In one of these lectures, of course, he's glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam in these lectures and he's preaching, And one of these lectures, he talks about this Hamsa community that lives in Satyuga. Because in Satyuga, everything is goodness. There's no sinful activity. There's no bad vices. So he talks about this Hamsa community, and among the Hamsa community, there are some Paramahamsas. And the method of worship is meditation. And they only meditate on Vishnu. There's no demigod worship. There's nothing. It's purely Vishnu. So Srimad Bhagavatam is actually, in the form, is also taught, to these yogis and sages who are performing this meditation, because they have to understand who they're focusing on. There's the whole process of their method of worship, right? So, and Treta Yuga, it's sacrifice. When sinful activity starts to impregnate a little bit, then Satya Yuga comes, and there's method changes to sacrifice. This is how he described it. Now, the interesting thing to me was that he was talking about the location where this community lived. And he said, what we see now, if you look on a map, you have what's called Kashapa Sea, the Kashapa Sea. It's located up in the north, up above what current-day India, where you have like Pakistan, you have Afghanistan, and then you have all these other stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. On the east side, there's about 7 of them as stands. On the western side, you have Turkey, you have Iran to the south, and Iraq. So this is the area. So I was looking at this map, and then I saw all these stands, like 7 of them. And I looked at Google, and I said, what does Istan mean? And so it came from the Hindu word meaning land. So you can see that how big, this was civilized society in Satya Yuga. You're talking about millions of years ago. This was way before probably much population even in southern India, because the only people on the planet were these Hamsas, these pure swan-like people. So this, I'm assuming it's the term is correct. I didn't do a whole very deep, research on it. But if you look at the land mass, it's like almost way bigger than India is currently. If you look at the size of India and then look at this huge mass of land, it's huge. And of course, now they say that, that area through Iraq and Iran and Turkey is like this, what they call it, the cradle of civilization. This is scientists, but they look at it as this is a point where hunter-gatherers changed to be like farmers, and this type of past went on. But they don't look history beyond like what we have to our, on Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, how old history really is, and how, and so he of course, he's glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, and he talks about these. So it's kind of interesting, of course, we see some examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have the very first Swayambhuva Manu is one of the first Manus. His daughter was Devahuti. The marriage was arranged with Kardama Muni. Now, I don't know if that was in Satya Yuga, but Swayambhuva Manu was one of the first Manus, so we were very early. Of course, each one reigns for 71, 72 cycles of these 4 ages. You have 14 Manus, 1,000 cycles, so you divide that 14 into 1,000, it comes up to 71 point something. Some people round it down, some people round it up, but it's a fraction of that. So even then, I don't know what time, but his Kardama Muni was meditating. We know that she, at one point they talked about how he was doing his meditation, or it could have been sacrifice. I don't really sacrifice, but one day he looked at her after, thousands of years of his devotional practice, and she looked very disheveled. That's how the story went. She was very disheveled. She hadn't taken care of herself because she was totally focusing on her service to her husband. And then, of course, the story goes on how he makes all these arrangements, for her to reciprocate with her service. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's stories that kind of spread out the whole spectrum of different ages of sacrifice and meditation and deity worship. And of course, now we're chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is the method of worship for us in the age of Kali, which is important. And then Srila Prabhupada obviously gave us, we know of all these angas of devotion, there are 5 that are prominent. Srimad Bhagavatam is extremely important. That we hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, that we worship the deities, that we chant the Lord's holy name, that we live in Vrindavan is one of those. But if you look at Prabhupada organized his entire movement really around these 5 angas. that the morning program is a setup with these prangas, that we worship the deity, we hear Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, we chant, we glorify Krishna, and another anga is that we seek out the association of advanced, like-minded devotees. And this is kind of interesting because like-minded can mean different things to different people. Like-minded in the sense that you want to be able to make it spiritual advancement. So if you associate with someone, especially advanced, who can help you, so this relationship, if it's like-minded, that means there's some affection also there, and there's also some reciprocation. So in those conditions, you can accelerate your process of devotional service. So this is very important, the process that Prabhupada gave us. And as the founder Acharya, it's extremely important, and the number one responsibility of the GBC is to protect that method of worship left behind by Srila Prabhupada. He's the Acharya. He set it up for a reason with Krishna. I think in the chapter 90 of the 10th canto of the Prayers of the Personified Vedas, there's Krishna's, they're praying, and they said that Krishna is so merciful that he accepts the method of worship that's left behind by the pure devotee. So, as most of us from the Western, we have nothing in our history that compares to what Prabhupada brought us, as far as getting ourselves reunited with Krishna. Okay, so any questions, comments, anything anybody wants to add? Like-minded, we want that, they stimulate us intellectually, they can stimulate us emotionally, those like-minded persons that transfer of information and knowledge can take place, in our heart, which is extremely important because it affects our faith. Our faith is not stagnant. Faith grows, it changes. You can measure faith, you can see faith. And Prabhupada said, pure faith is love of God. Yeah. I think and I watch a lot of classes on YouTube and lectures, and there's such a big variety out there. But I think ultimately it's association. These 5 angas come into play at all time. So you have to associate with, here Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of the devotees. So that's first and foremost what's the most important thing. How does it relate with these 5 angas? I mean, it's more than just maybe some material relationship, whether it's conservative or liberal, because we have a variety of personalities, it's beyond those types of things. But ultimately, you have to have association for the purpose of making spiritual advancement and finding a situation where that's going to be more conducive and increase our rate of advancement. I mean, if we're receptive to somebody, we'll hear them. We got to be able to hear what they have to say. And if we have some false ego or preconceived issues that block that, can make it a little bit more difficult to that process to transfer into us. So like-minded helps in that way. Okay. Thank you very much. Jai. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Govindam Adipurusham Kandar Agung Ikamania Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Namaho Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Saming Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bachar Nakedi Visesha Shunyavani Pasachagode Sacharanai Devasesha Sunyavani Pasachagode Sacharanai Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadada Siva Sati Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnu.
Chaitodarpana marjanam Mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinada Pisunichena Tarora Pisahishuna Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavidam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Rainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayatava Pada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vichintaya Nainam Galadashu Daraya Vaharanam Gadgadurudaya Giram Pulakarnishitam Vabhukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishiti Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavabadamratam Panastumam Adarshanam Narmahato Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastu Saivanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss. and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shasika Ki Jai.